Hi, I'm Nate from Nerd Conquest Coalition, and behind the camera as always is Vern. Say hi, Vern.
Groovy.
That's right, because he likes the Evil Dead movie and the TV show too. He's never seen either. I'd like to talk about the King of Yes. I'd like to talk about the King of Fighters 14 game that's coming out and the TV show. This fighting game that's coming out is lesser known than the Street Fighter V series, but Street Fighter V kind of came out to slightly mixed anticipation. So Street Fighter came out with 15 characters, no story mode, a single player, one-on-one fighting online match, and then it was a ranked match and it was a non-ranked match. There really wasn't much variety in the actual gameplay. With King of Fighters, they're coming out and saying, hey Capcom, this is how you do it. They're going to bring out 50 characters. They're going to have a full story mode at launch. And their one-on-one matches is just the beginning of the online matches. They will also have the 3-on-3 matches, as in like the Marvel vs. Capcom series, but King of Fighters was doing it first. And also, they're going to have 6-player 3-on-3 matches. Each player picks one character, picks a side, and then 3-on-3 match occurs. One player will fight another one, the loser steps aside, new player comes up until they're all eliminated. Now, that's in this kind of state that the fighting game industry is in. That's swinging for the fences, and I'm hoping that the Capcom, just in general, any fighting game, kind of looks at this and says, "This is what we need to do." That's if King of Fighters can sell well. The problem is that it doesn't have the same exposure as Street Fighter does. The hardcore fighting game community does know about this game, but the general audience, just gamers in general, don't know who Terry Bogard is. You tell them who Ryu is, and yeah, they're right there with you. Say Terry Bogard, and they're like, who? Fatal Fury, by the way. So, I'm hoping that this game will do well, but with 50 characters, it also has a problem with bouncing issues. There's too many characters to really get the bouncing spot on, so I don't see it going to move on into the Evo tournaments, which is a kind of a bad thing for the fighting games that are coming out now. It seems like every one that comes out needs to be able to make it onto that circuit to do well for itself, unless its budget wasn't very high to begin with and can just sell enough to actually, just make up its cost. But King of Fighters is looking like they're pouring some money into it. It's 3D graphics with the 2D fighting style. That's pretty much what Street Fighter 4 did. The graphics don't look nearly as good as Street Fighter 5, but with 50 characters and a lower budget, who can blame them? But still, it's good for a lesser known company to actually be stepping it up like this, and we really shouldn't have to rely on somebody stepping up with this. It should have been a progressive thing. Fighting games in general started off one way, built up another whenever it came to Street Fighter 2, and it was a big old thing. There was many fighting games out there. When the Super Nintendo was around and the Neo Geo, if anyone remembers that, there were a ton of fighting games. But nowadays, it started to kind of peter out, and that's a shame because that's one of my favorite genres. With Street Fighter V, they actually took a step backwards, and they said, we'll fix it later, and they've yet to actually fix it. It's been more sturdy online matches, like there's not as much random droppage, the rage quitting situation's going to be dealt with, that's good, but it's not there yet. And for a game that doesn't have that kind of budget or acclaim to go and say, well, we're going to do it, that's promising. But still, at the same time, kind of disappointing that we're having to rely on that in the first place. Either way, I just wanted to bring to the attention of anyone who watches this that King of Fighters 14 is coming out. Support it if it's good, and hopefully we'll see other companies bring it up like this. Hopefully Street Fighter 6, if it ever happens, will step up and be good, or they'll make number 5 better than it already is. The characters that they're releasing right now just aren't really my cup of tea, so hopefully the next batch of expansion characters will do well. But that's just an attention-getting video is kind of what I'm trying to make here. It's not really a news thing, just a, hey, hope this works. It's kind of a hopeful video, something rare nowadays. I've been Nate from Nerd Conquest Coalition, and as always, behind the camera has been Vern. Say bye, Vern.
So long.
He meant that too. See you next time. Until then, be nerd, be proud.